within the nature of trust and finding that relationships, for all three of you, how would one engineer that potential new networking relationship for the people in the room who maybe haven't quite got those relationships established yet? It's a tough one, I appreciate.
I'd say maybe don't feel the need to rush into things with people. Just because you feel say you have a project that you want to work on, or don't feel the need to just say yes to every opportunity. Although it could be counterintuitive advice because you want to take on as much as possible. But really try and kind of, not wait it out, but try and search for the things that, and projects that align with your tastes that you already have. Because that way you're only gonna, when you sit down to work on it, you're gonna enjoy it. The time's gonna fly by. And you're gonna make something that's a really good product because you've allowed yourself the space to work on something that is aligned with yourself.
Yeah.
Waffling.
I would definitely agree with that, for sure, yeah. To be into what you're making. I would add to it, if I was going to give a more sort of tactical piece of advice, to network, to make friends with people, meet people, talk to people, be a social human being. I think that's a big part of being a creative and doing any kind of collaborative work, is the more contacts you have to reach out to when you need, the better your project is going to be. There are people in this that, like, I worked with, you know, there's an accordionist who helped out, and it's like, that was a friend of a friend, you know, but just, if I didn't have that friend of a friend, then I wouldn't have the accordion in this. And just little bits and bobs like that slowly add and build up. Or like, there's a sample of a church choir singing, which is like, it's actually my sibling, so it's not exactly networking. but you know, it's just about like building up that collection of people that you can then reach out to, you know, get a little bit of this or a little bit of that when you need it. And also be there for people when they need it as well. Like, that relationship goes both ways, and to be a helping hand if someone needs a bit of help with I don't know what, but yeah, to be open to collaboration, but just like you said as well, also having your own limits and not saying yes to everything. So keeping that balance between,
And I would also add to that by saying, don't wait for something to come to you. Like, don't be afraid to approach people, speak to people, open those dialogues. Like, just don't wait on your laurels. Like, jump in head first at every opportunity you get to speak to a director, you know, filmmaker or whatever, even if it's somebody you might not initially want to work with. Just, you never know what you're going to learn from somebody and where that might lead. Just be open-minded in all the ways possible.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think fortune favours the brave. And, you know, with DBS in mind specifically, we do have that option as a student in one of the leading music institutions in the country to reach out to various productions or personnel that inspire you and just do it. You know, the whole cold calling thing, I don't think it's so cold when you've got targeted individual or collective with the DBS thing. It's kind of like what's unsaid is already there, and hopefully something garnishes a nice relationship moving forward. I think that's all really important points to kind of apply to your own practice and your own craft, really. But yeah, just putting yourself out there unashamedly as well, because, you know, it's such a saturated and competitive industry, and you'd like to think that the cream rises to the top. Sometimes opportunity overshadows that. So we just kind of have to begrudgingly go for it. And, you know, that's the hard part, is the self-promotion, reaching out for networking.
Yeah, share your work. Just, for example, the past 3 years, I've kind of sought work in the film industry and wiggled my way in. But that's only through collecting as many emails as possible. I've got like an email thing in my notes, which has 250 emails in it now. And every time a film gets made, I just spam it out. And it's the same message that might be a little bit personalized. Oh, how are you doing? What are you working on now? But just be, as you said, unashamedly rep yourself, you know. Because somebody's going to see it, and then at some point, a couple of years down the line, they might be like, oh, what's that person doing? Or when they need a person that's just like you for that role, do you know what I mean? So yeah, network, collect as many emails as possible, and get out there.
It's hard, isn't it? Networking is almost a dirty word nowadays, but I think it doesn't stop you from being outward and, you know, confident in your ability to gauge those connections with other creative industry personnel who are probably also trying to find like-minded people. So I don't think it has to feel as such an uphill battle as maybe we as creatives kind of take on. I don't think it has to be that hard.
You're
But I
right.
appreciate it's tough.
And also, the worst thing that's going to happen is they'll say no or ignore you. Like, I've reached out to hundreds of people, and I've gotten many rejections. And in relation to like visual arts and performing and stuff, it's like I don't even remember those rejections or those people who said no. I remember the opportunities that I got and the times when people said yes. So yeah, definitely just resonating that even more.
You are right about networking being a dirty word.
Yeah,
I was always so scared of the word. I was always so scared to be in rooms with people.
Yeah.
Until I realised you just have to just be yourself.
Yeah.
Authenticity. Jamie and I were in this room because we sat at a Screenology networking event and chatted about James Blake for an hour.
That's it.
And just about what our favourite albums were and
Start
had
with a
a
beautiful
little
friendship.
argument. But it can go just by being your authentic self.
I'm a big. I think that's all you can do really, and have the ability and confidence in your craft. It's almost secondary, and if you clicked on a personal level, like fortunately enough, Miles and I did, and we've had the opportunity to work together creatively, and that's when some really fantastic creative friendships happen, and long may that continue.